Hey guys, it's me, Vic123 with some Team Combat Axe gameplay on multi-team Team Deathmatch, and this was such a long and difficult game. You guys can't even begin to understand, so I've added a bit of extra speed to the gameplay just so it doesn't go on for ages. And actually with Combat Axe gameplay it works quite well with just a bit of added speed, you know, just a bit more fast paced, but you can still see what's going on. We're just cutting these guys up right here, and seriously, the people that play on multi-team deathmatch tend to be, you know, they try a lot harder or just play a lot better than the people just on regular team deathmatch. So we were really struggling the entire game just to pick up the kills that we could get, and the outcome, well, you guys can see that was a nice little play that unfortunately missed out on the third guy. But yeah, it's crazy with the multi-team element because, you know, the concussion, the team element of Team Combat Axe is the, you know, the reason we can do so well is we work as a team, we stun up people, we, you know, flank them, move in. Whereas on multi-team Team Deathmatch it's different because it's like I'd stun someone up and then I'd tell someone else to go around behind and flank. Then someone from the other team, you know, the other team, the third team, would kill the person that I'd stunned up, and then they'd kill my teammate as well, and it would be like, oh, well, that's back to square one. So it was difficult, and you know, there were a couple of fails like that right there, but those are inevitable with the combat axes. So the gameplay, I hope you guys are going to enjoy. Literally, I've never been concentrating so much for such a long amount of time in a gameplay. So that's that, and aside from the gameplay, what have I been up to? Well, if I'm honest, it's still just kind of revising exam stuff, making videos, been making a lot of stuff for my second channel. I'm really enjoying producing videos on there at the moment, Vicstar123HD, if you don't know about it. But also, yesterday, I went out to look at a second-hand car to buy, and I actually ended up putting down a deposit on a car. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, I'm going to keep it secret. Maybe I'll make a video when I get it, I'm not sure, if you guys would like to see that. So yeah, put down a deposit on my first car, which is awesome. I'm going to pick it up sometime next week. So that's all cool. And in the rest of this video, I thought I would share a bit of a story with you guys. This was something I was reminded of when I was talking to a friend who unfortunately had food poisoning. But it reminded me of when I had food poisoning. It was a few years ago, and I don't know if any of you guys have had food poisoning before, but honestly, it's horrible. It's one of the worst things. It was particularly worse for me, and I'll explain why. But what happened was, basically, I just had a chicken sandwich while I was out in town, and apparently it was food poisoned. So found that out quite some time later. But anyway, basically I got food poisoning and it was horrible. I was, you know, throwing up, just stomach cramps, just like literally so painful, and it went on for a few days. And I was like, this is not getting better, this is getting worse. So I went into hospital, and pretty much the first thing when I got there, they just said, yeah, we reckon this is appendicitis, which is basically where your appendix gets infected and inflamed, and, you know, it's quite a common thing. And they're like, yeah, it's that, okay, we're going to put you into surgery and have your appendix taken out. And I really didn't want that to happen. And I don't know whether, you know, I knew I had food poisoning, because at this point I was completely oblivious, but I don't know if I knew or I just really didn't want to have the surgery. But I was, you know, like, no, don't do it. And I think I said, like, you know, leave it a day. And then actually I did get taken up to a waiting bed for surgery. And actually, basically before surgery, they won't let you eat or drink anything. So that kind of, I wasn't eating or drinking anything. And also, basically, the way it is with surgery is that they basically have a waiting list, and anything, you know, that's an emergency, that's urgent, will get sorted before anything else. So I was waiting for quite some time, and oh, check out this throw. Oh, with the jump on the long range. So yeah, there was a waiting list, and I was waiting for about 2 days. And actually, I started to feel a little bit better, and then, you know, I basically started to get a tiny bit better, and I was like, well, if this is appendicitis, then it wouldn't get any better. So turns out I didn't have any, I didn't have any surgery, and then went back home, was still feeling ill for a few days. Then my mum is actually a doctor, so she decided to take some bloods from me and send them off to get tested. And guess what? Turns out straight away that they just found out straight away I had food poisoning. So one blood test right at the start could have detected that, rather than all of the hassle that there was. And that basically meant that they put me on a week's course of antibiotics, and boom, I'm fine again. After literally a few weeks of just like being so ill, it's untrue. And I think this is quite interesting to think about from a perspective of a free healthcare system, because that's what we have in the UK. I know it's different in the US, but they're pushing for a free healthcare system. But in a way, you know, it's not such a positive thing as you might think. Of course, with any system, there's no perfect system, but often, you know, I think that they're very kind of hasty because if it's kind of like they said, right, okay, look, we can do the surgery to take your appendix out, it's going to cost you, you know, £3,000, and then, you know, I might think, well, actually, it's probably not appendicitis, I'm not going to go for it. Whereas if they're saying, right, you can have the surgery for having your appendix taken out, just do it, it's not going to cost you anything. You know, a lot of people, I feel, do end up having surgical procedures that are unnecessary. And another thing is that a lot of the time in, you know, in the free healthcare system in the NHS, they kind of have quotas and goals, and they receive funding based on, you know, how many procedures they carry out, how many, you know, it's just like, we've done, you know, 70 operations this month, we need this budget for this, and, you know, it's kind of as a metric determined for success. But if, you know, things are being falsely diagnosed and that kind of stuff, then where does that leave the situation? That's something I just wanted to bring up as a topic of thought for you guys to consider. You know, is a free healthcare system as wonderful as it is? I mean, you know, this is one example where it isn't fantastic. I'm sure there are plenty of examples where it is, but it's just an interesting point of view. Look at the gameplay. We're 1 kill in the lead. I've missed my combat axes, and unfortunately, we pick up the loss there. But anyway, I've done my talking. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like rating, and also feel free to check out some more Team Combat Axe episodes by clicking the links on screen right now.